He succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall and takes on the responsibilities. Today, I am proud to create him Prince of Wales.
This morning, the world woke up to deeply emotional news from Buckingham Palace. The royal family released a statement that left millions in silence. For years, the palace has guarded its privacy carefully, showing only calm faces and formal smiles to the world. But today, that mask slipped. The official announcement revealed that King Charles's health has taken a sudden and serious turn for the worse. What had been described months ago as a minor issue has now become something far more alarming. According to the statement, the king is facing an advanced medical condition that requires constant care and regular medical attention. Though the palace did not share every detail, it was clear from their tone that this was not an ordinary update. It was a moment of truth for a family, in a country that has depended on its monarch for steadiness and strength. As the news spread, London's usual rhythm seemed to pause. Crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace, watching silently as cameras flashed and reporters whispered into microphones. The palace gates, always symbols of royal tradition, felt heavier that morning, as if they were holding back the weight of sadness within. Inside those walls, the royal family was facing a storm of emotion, worry, fear, and quiet resolve. Prince William, the heir to the throne, arrived early that morning, his face serious and focused. Princess Catherine was by his side, her calm expression masking deep concern. The two of them are known for their composed public appearances. But even from a distance, observers noticed the tension in their eyes. For William, this was not only about a father's illness. It was about the future of the crown and the family's stability. Royal correspondents reported that King Charles had been struggling privately for months. He had continued public duties whenever possible, smiling for the cameras, shaking hands, and delivering speeches. But behind the scenes, his energy was fading. Those close to the palace say that his determination to serve despite his condition has inspired both admiration and worry. At 76, Charles has spent his life preparing for this role, and stepping back now feels like a painful defeat. Still, his doctors reportedly urged him to rest and limit his engagements. Insiders described a man torn between duty and his body's limitations. A monarch who refuses to appear weak before the public he has served for decades. In recent weeks, several small but telling signs began to surface. Photos taken at Sandringham, the king's private estate, showed him walking slowly through the gardens, leaning heavily on a wooden cane. His face, once strong and expressive, appeared thinner and lined with fatigue. Yet, in those same photos, he managed a faint smile, as if reassuring everyone, and perhaps himself, that he would continue fighting. People around the world shared these images on social media, expressing their love and concern. Many compared him to his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who famously worked up until her final days. "He's following her example," one comment read. "He's showing the world what real courage looks like." But behind the palace's calm exterior, the atmosphere has been tense. Royal aides reportedly held emergency meetings to plan how to manage upcoming royal duties. There were quiet discussions about possible transitions, conversations that no one wanted to have but could no longer avoid. The weight of this uncertainty fell heaviest on Prince William and Princess Catherine. As the next in line, William is now stepping into more leadership roles, often speaking on behalf of the royal family. Palace sources describe him as steady but burdened. It's a man trying to honor his father while preparing to carry the same crown. Catherine, meanwhile, has continued to attend public engagements, offering warmth and kindness wherever she goes. Her presence has brought comfort to many who fear that the monarchy is entering a difficult chapter. What struck many observers most, however, was the absence of Queen Camilla during the announcement. Her empty chair during a planned event was noticed instantly by the press. The palace later said that she was resting and focusing on her health, but rumors began to spread quickly. Was her absence due to her own illness, or was there more to the story? Some sources suggested that the stress of the king's condition had taken a toll on her, while others whispered about growing tension within the family. Whatever the reason, her absence only deepened the feeling that the monarchy was under immense strain. By afternoon, the news had reached every corner of the globe. Television networks ran breaking news banners. Royal experts gave interviews. Fans outside the palace laid flowers, notes, and photos of the king. Many said they couldn't believe how suddenly everything had changed. Just months ago, Charles had attended major public events, smiling, shaking hands, and laughing with the crowds. Now that same man was confined mostly to his residence, undergoing treatments and surrounded by medical staff. The contrast was painful for those who had followed his life since his youth. A man who had waited more than 70 years to wear the crown, now struggling to hold on to it. Through all of this, the king's words from his first speech as monarch have resurfaced online. In that speech, he promised to serve with loyalty, respect, and love for as long as he lived. Today, those words feel heavier than ever. They remind the nation that behind the crown, there is a human being, one facing the same fears and frailties as anyone else. As the sun set over Buckingham Palace that evening, thousands gathered in quiet reflection. The Union Jack waved gently above the gates, and though the day had been filled with sorrow, it was also filled with admiration. Admiration for a king who, even in weakness, continued to embody strength. In the days that followed the king's announcement, attention slowly shifted toward the Prince and Princess of Wales. For years, William and Catherine have been the steady bridge between the old and new generations of the royal family. Now, they are stepping into a larger role, one that demands leadership, compassion, and unity. The public's eyes are on them, not just as future monarchs, but as symbols of continuity during uncertainty. Observers say that the way they carry themselves in these next months will define how the monarchy is seen for decades to come. It did not take long for the couple to respond. During a carefully planned appearance at Kensington Palace, Prince William introduced a new royal initiative called the Diana Project. The name alone carried powerful emotion. Dedicated to the memory of his late mother, Princess Diana. The initiative aims to support charities focusing on compassion, mental health, and social connection, the same causes Diana championed during her lifetime. Standing beside Catherine, William spoke softly but firmly, saying that this project would be a reflection of the heart and humanity my mother shared with the world. His words were met with applause and tears. Many people online described it as one of his most heartfelt public moments yet. The Diana Project quickly became the center of national attention. News outlets replayed William's speech alongside old clips of Diana visiting hospitals and comforting children. Social media filled with tributes, reminding everyone of her warmth, empathy, and courage. It felt as though her legacy had come full circle, once again influencing the monarchy through her son and daughter-in-law. Yet, not everyone in the palace was entirely comfortable with this revival of Diana's memory. According to reports, Queen Camilla was quietly uneasy about how the project might shift public sentiment. For years, she has worked hard to earn her place as queen consort, and now, the resurgence of Diana's name risks overshadowing that progress. Behind closed doors, subtle changes were already taking place. Palace insiders revealed that more meetings and official briefings were being led by William. His advisors were increasingly taking the lead in shaping public communications. Even in the press, there was a visible shift. More headlines featured William and Catherine than King Charles or Queen Camilla. While there has been no official transition of power, it is clear that the balance within the monarchy is evolving. William's tone has grown more confident, his speech is more decisive. Catherine's presence, always elegant, now carries an added sense of authority. Together, they project a calm strength that many believe is exactly what the royal family needs in this moment. The couple's growing. Visibility has reignited public interest in the monarchy. People see them as relatable, a modern couple raising young children, balancing duty with family life. Catherine's visits to hospitals, schools, and charities continue to draw praise. Her warmth feels genuine, her interactions natural. This authenticity stands out in a world where royal appearances are often scripted and rehearsed. For many, she represents the same kind of emotional connection that Diana once brought to the role of princess. William, too, has found his voice. Long known for his cautious nature, he now speaks with conviction about mental health, environmental issues, and the importance of unity in uncertain times. Yet, Even as the new generation rises, the old one remains. King Charles, though weakened, continues to perform select duties when his condition allows. He has publicly expressed pride in his son and daughter-in-law, calling them a shining example of service. Those words, however, have not silenced speculation about private tensions within the family. Some royal commentators suggest that the transition of influence is happening faster than Charles expected. Others argue that it is necessary that the monarchy must adapt to survive. Either way, it is clear that the crown is gradually, almost quietly, preparing for the next era. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla's public appearances have grown less frequent. Where she once attended multiple events a week, she now appears only occasionally. Often beside the king, insiders say she has been feeling the strain of both the king's illness and the growing public focus on William and Catherine. In one quiet moment captured by photographers, she appeared distant and weary, perhaps reflecting the heavy burden of maintaining stability amid uncertainty. For all her years of resilience, this moment seems to test her in new ways. Her story, like Charles's, is one of endurance, but also of delicate balance. Within the palace, staff members whisper of shifting loyalties. Advisors once loyal to Charles are now working more closely with William. Media coverage, too, has subtly changed tone. Even veteran reporters note how the royal narrative is focusing more on the younger couple, highlighting their compassion and sense of renewal. It is not rebellion or drama, rather a gentle evolution happening in real time. The monarchy, for centuries defined by formality and hierarchy, is now moving toward something more human and emotionally open. For the public, this shift feels hopeful. People are drawn to the image of William and Catherine, as parents and partners, relatable figures in an institution often seen as distant. Their recent family appearances, featuring relaxed smiles and natural interactions, have reinforced that connection. They represent stability, kindness, and modern leadership, qualities the world wants from the next generation of royals. Still, beneath that grace lies tremendous pressure. Every word, every gesture, every appearance must carry the dignity of their roles while signaling the promise of change. As weeks passed, another layer of the royal story began to unfold: the quiet tensions inside the palace. While the family appeared united in public, insiders suggested that old rivalries were resurfacing behind the scenes. One of the most talked about relationships was between Queen Camilla and Princess Anne. For decades, the two have maintained a professional respect. But sources say recent events have stirred old frustrations. Princess Anne, known for her discipline and blunt honesty, has reportedly questioned some of Camilla's decisions and her influence on palace matters. Their differences, though subtle, highlight the generational and personal divides shaping the monarchy's current moment. Anne's loyalty to her brother, King Charles, has never wavered. She has been by his side through thick and thin, performing royal duties with quiet dedication. Yet, she also sees the growing influence of William and Catherine and recognizes the shift happening before everyone's eyes. The monarchy is changing, not through confrontation, but through evolution. What used to be decided behind closed doors is now shaped by public perception. Social media, press coverage, and public sentiment hold more power than ever before. Even the smallest gesture, an absent appearance, a facial expression, a brief quote can influence global headlines within minutes. In the midst of these changes, one truth remains constant: the monarchy's future depends on how gracefully it navigates this transition. The king's illness has forced the royal family to confront questions it has long avoided: questions about succession, responsibility, and unity. William and Catherine are taking on more duties, not out of ambition, but out of necessity. Their generation understands that the world has changed. People no longer view royalty as unreachable figures. They expect transparency, emotion, and authenticity. That is why their calm, humble approach resonates so strongly with the public. Still, challenges lie ahead. The memory of Princess Diana continues to shape how the monarchy is perceived. Her story of compassion and heartbreak remains deeply woven into Britain's national identity. By reviving her legacy through the Diana Project, William has honored her memory, but he has also reopened emotional wounds for himself, his father, and even Queen Camilla. For Charles, Diana's legacy is both a reminder of pain and a source of inspiration for the compassion the public expects. For Camilla, it is more complex. She has worked tirelessly to win public acceptance after years of criticism. But the reemergence of Diana's name has brought back uncomfortable comparisons. In private, she is said to be supportive of William's intentions, but aware that every mention of Diana renews public debate over her own place in royal history. Through all of this, the royal family continues to present a united front. Public events are carefully choreographed, speeches carefully written. But attentive watchers can see the subtle shifts the way William now leads more engagements, the way Catherine's speeches carry the heart of the message, the way Charles looks on with a mix of pride and quiet resignation. It is the natural order of succession, yet it carries emotional weight for everyone involved. The monarchy is not just an institution, it is a family, bound by duty, but also by complex relationships and private emotions. Outside the palace, the public's love for the royal family remains strong but evolving. There is sympathy for King Charles and deep admiration for his perseverance. There is affection and excitement for William and Catherine seen as the future. And there is curiosity, even skepticism about how Queen Camilla will navigate this delicate balance. Across the Commonwealth, people are watching this chapter unfold like a modern royal drama, full of history, emotion, and quiet transformation as King Charles continues his treatment. Palace sources say he remains committed to his role for as long as he can. His resilience mirrors that of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. He continues to read daily reports, hold brief meetings, and stay informed about government matters. His determination to fulfill his duty, even in frailty, has inspired respect from both supporters and critics. Meanwhile, William and Catherine continue to shape a new vision of monarchy, one that feels closer to the people, more compassionate and more open to change. The crown, once a symbol of distant power, is becoming a symbol of humanity. It reminds us that even those born into privilege face pain, aging, and uncertainty. It shows that leadership can coexist with vulnerability. And it proves that, even in times of struggle, grace and dignity can still shine through. As this story continues, one question lingers over Britain and the world. What does the future hold for the House of Windsor? Will it be defined by tradition or transformation? By sorrow or renewal? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the monarchy is not standing still. It is quietly evolving, guided by love, legacy, and the unbreakable will to endure. And as the world watches this deeply human story unfold, we are reminded that beneath the jewels, the titles, and the ceremony, there are people. People who feel, who struggle, and who carry the heavy weight of history every single day. Music fades in gentle piano. This has been today's story on the heartbreaking news from Buckingham Palace and the quiet shift reshaping the royal family. If you've been moved by this update, please share your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that reveal the people behind the crown. As the days turn into weeks, the world continues to watch Buckingham Palace with quiet concern. The news of King Charles's condition still echoes across television screens and headlines. But now, something else has begun to emerge. Not just sadness or worry, but reflection. People everywhere are starting to think about what the monarchy truly means in this modern world. What role does it play? Why, even in times of crisis, do so many feel connected to it? The answer may lie not in power, but in presence, the sense that the royal family, with all its flaws in history, still represents continuity in a world that changes too fast every evening. Crowds still gather outside the palace gates. Some bring flowers. Some bring handwritten notes of encouragement. One elderly woman told a reporter, "I came here for the Queen, and I'm here again for the King. It's what we do. We stand by them as they've stood by us." A young couple placed a drawing made by their daughter, a picture of a crown surrounded by hearts. Such small gestures reveal how deeply the monarchy still lives in the hearts of ordinary people. Despite modern debates about relevance or reform, the emotional bond remains real and powerful. Inside the palace, the royal family is adjusting to a new rhythm of life. King Charles continues his treatments in private, supported by his doctors and by Queen Camilla, who has quietly returned to the public eye. Her recent appearance at a charity event surprised many. She looked tired, yes, but determined. In her short speech, she thanked the public for their kind words and asked for privacy as the family focuses on the king's recovery. Those few words carried weight. They reminded everyone that behind the formality of the monarchy are human beings navigating fear and love. Just like any other family, Prince William, meanwhile, has taken on even more responsibilities. His schedule is full: meetings with officials, community visits, and charitable events. Yet those close to him say he always finds time each day to check on his father. His respect for the king is clear, and though he is stepping into a larger role, he does so with humility. In a recent public statement, he said, "My father's strength continues to guide us all. We are doing everything we can to honor his lifelong commitment to service." The sincerity in his voice touched millions. Viewers commented that his calm tone reminded them of both his father's wisdom and his mother's warmth, the perfect balance. Of old and new, Princess Catherine continues to shine as a symbol of grace and empathy. Her recent visit to a children's hospital drew national attention. Not because of her royal status, but because of how naturally she connected with the children. One mother told a reporter that Catherine knelt to speak eye to eye with her son. Listening to his story with full attention, "It didn't feel like talking to a princess," she said. "It felt like talking to a friend." These small, genuine moments are what make Catherine so beloved. They show that kindness can be powerful, perhaps even more powerful than tradition itself. The younger generation of royals, too, is starting to play its part. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are still children. But the world already sees glimpses of their personalities: curious, kind, and full of energy. William and Catherine have tried to protect them from the pressures of royal life. But as they grow, their public appearances increase slightly each year. To many, these young faces represent hope, a sign that despite hardship, the monarchy's story is far from over. It is evolving, just as it always has. Beyond Britain, leaders and citizens from around the world have sent messages of support. From Australia to Canada, from India to South Africa. The king's illness has sparked sympathy and reflection within Commonwealth nations. Many have expressed that, while politics and opinions differ, respect for service transcends borders. In one touching message, a Canadian school sent hundreds of handmade get-well cards to the palace, filled with colorful drawings of crowns, corgis, and kind words. It was a reminder that symbols still matter, and that the royal family's influence extends far beyond ceremony. Yet even amid hope, challenges remain. Public discussions continue about what the monarchy should look like in the years ahead. Should it be smaller, more modern, more transparent, or should it preserve the grandeur that makes it unique? William and Catherine seem to understand that the answer may be a mix of both. They represent a future where tradition meets empathy, where royal duties are performed not from a throne of distance, but from a heart of service. Their speeches often include phrases like together, community, and understanding. These are not just words. They are signals of the monarchy's gradual transformation into something more human, relatable. For King Charles, this transformation is both a continuation and a legacy. Those who know him well describe him as deeply thoughtful, a man who has long balanced modern ideas with a respect for history. Throughout his life, he has championed environmental causes, interfaith dialogue, sustainable living topics once considered unconventional for a royal. Today, those same beliefs are part of mainstream global conversations. Even as he faces personal health struggles, his vision continues through the work of his son and daughter-in-law. It is, in many ways, the passing of a torch, not of power, but of purpose. Behind palace doors, family members gather often quieter moments, without cameras or ceremony. Insiders say those evenings are filled with warmth and reflection. They share memories, laughter, and sometimes tears. For all the public attention, it is these private moments that define them most. They remind one another why they continue this centuries-old tradition, not for wealth or fame, but for continuity, identity, and service. The monarchy, after all, is not simply about ruling. It is about representing, standing as a symbol of resilience through every chapter of national life. As winter approaches, London's skyline glows softly in the evening light. The palace, with its grand architecture and golden gates, looks serene once again. But those who pass by know the silence inside carries stories of endurance, of fear, and of love. The king continues to fight, surrounded by family and faith. The heir continues to serve, guided by the lessons of those who came before him. And the people, whether royalists or critics, continue to watch not just because of history, but because of humanity. Perhaps that is the heart of this entire story. Beneath the crowns and titles lies something timeless, the universal experience of family, facing change, of holding on to hope. The royal family's journey mirrors that of every family that has ever faced uncertainty and found strength in togetherness. And that is why, despite everything, their story still moves the world. Soft orchestral music rises as this chapter of the royal story unfolds. One message remains clear: even in moments of heartbreak, there is light. The monarchy may change, faces may age, and times may evolve, but the spirit of duty and devotion endures. King Charles's courage, Queen Camilla's steadiness, William and Catherine's compassion, together they show that leadership is not about perfection, but perseverance. And as the flag continues to fly above Buckingham Palace, it carries with it not just the weight of a kingdom, but the hope of a people that in the face of every trial, grace and humanity will always find a way to endure. For centuries, the British royal family has stood as one of the most recognized symbols in the world. Their crowns, castles, and ceremonies have captured imaginations across generations. From the grandeur of coronations to the quiet sorrow of farewells, the monarchy has weathered wars, loss, and endless change, yet somehow it has always endured. The crown is more than gold and jewels. It is a living link between the past and the present, carrying the weight of history, tradition, and the hearts of millions who look to it for stability in uncertain times. But behind the shining balcony, smiles, and grand processions lies a different story, a human story. A story of family, love, heartbreak, and survival. The royals may live in palaces, but their struggles, their pain, and their hopes mirror those of ordinary people everywhere. Over the decades, the family has faced more than its share of challenges, from public criticism to personal loss. Yet each time they've managed to rise again, stronger and more united. Even when the world doubted them, King Charles III's reign began with hope, a promise to continue his late mother's legacy while guiding the monarchy into a modern age. His words during his first public address as king touched millions. He spoke of duty, service, and love for the people of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. For many, it marked a new chapter, one filled with optimism that the crown could evolve without losing its essence. And for a time, it seemed that stability had returned to the House of Windsor. But behind the palace walls, not everything was as calm as it appeared. Whispers began to circulate in quiet corners, rumors of health concerns, internal tension, and shifting family roles. At first, the palace dismissed these reports as speculation, insisting the king was in good health and excellent spirits. But as months passed, public appearances grew fewer. His once energetic presence seemed softer, slower, and more fragile. Cameras caught glimpses that told a different story, one of struggle and fatigue. The world's curiosity turned to concern. Loyal supporters, who had watched the royal family for decades, began to wonder if something deeper was happening, something the palace wasn't ready to say out loud. And then, just when speculation reached its peak, the nation woke one quiet morning to the sound of breaking news alerts flashing across every screen. Urgent. A statement expected from Buckingham Palace. Those 7 words were enough to send a chill through millions of homes. People stopped what they were doing. Television networks switched to live coverage. The atmosphere grew heavy, uncertain, almost eerily familiar, as though the country knew that once again. History was about to turn a page. What followed would not only test the resilience of the monarchy, but would remind the world of its humanity. This was more than a royal update. It was a moment that would forever alter how we see the crown, the family behind it, and the meaning of duty itself.